This is Vision Builders. If you don't know who we are, I hope you do. But if it's your first time joining us, you're in for a treat. We're going to enjoy an engaging conversation and discussion on igniting the flame of your dreams and your visions. And if you're returning, we encourage you to share the great tools you've learned to execute your vision with a clearer lens. And as a usual practice, we have a question of the day. And that question of the day, we could get that up there. I'll read it out for us. Question is, what is the purpose of an emergency fund? And give another 15 seconds if anybody else needs to respond. Mr. B, I definitely want to pull you in on this one because I know this was a question that we discussed, and I want to see what you thought about the answers.
I lean toward D. Everything for me is an opportunity to invest, but I won't hog the floor up with my answers. This is the opportunity for other people to answer. So then I'll comment if I feel so inspired to do so.
So it looked like, besides Mr. Brown, he chose D and E, right? But I would say majority of the room chose B. Can we say why? Is anybody brave enough to say why they chose B? Devon?
I chose B because you have to make sure that if there's like funds that need to be put towards, like, let's say I bought a house and it needs what, $80,000, but you put down 60 to cover payments and costs of, like, I don't know, new walls, new carpet, new painting, and new windows, whatever the case may be. You could use 20K for that to cover the expenses.
That's a very realistic answer. Definitely, I'm not a homeowner yet, but I do hear that there are some unexpected costs that come when you do purchase a property. So you also want to make sure you have some money set aside, not just to purchase, but to also, do what you just said. Then all the new things you may need to purchase in order to upkeep your home. Anyone else? Why did you choose B?
I chose B because it had the word emergency fund. So when I saw emergency, I thought, okay, unexpected. So that's why I chose the answer that I chose.
That's logical.
Mm-hmm. Very logical. I was just going to use that word. Okay, one more person. Why'd you choose B?
So I'm going to jump back to what Devon said about purchasing a home. I think that whenever you purchase a home, especially an older one, there's almost an assumption that there's going to be something that you're going to have to fix. So oftentimes when folks purchase a home, they actually build in a little more into their budget because it's assumed that you're going to have to remediate mold or knock down a wall or something. So where I would see an emergency fund coming in is after I've done all of that work, if I have an issue with my roof that was unexpected because it didn't show up on inspection or something like that, that's probably where I would dip into an emergency fund.
Nice.
So there's different layers of emergency, I guess is what I want to say. So some people actually have a few different layers of that. Like they'll have an immediate emergency, like a urgent emergency, and something that needs to be taken care of that's not as pressing or urgent, but can be considered an emergency.
Awesome. Okay. Those are great answers. Mm-hmm.
Kiana would say, so I'm trying to get my new people in. Come on, Kiana, jump on it.
All right, I'm jumping. I say emergency because it can be a healthcare expense. I know a situation where my husband had an unexpected clot in his knee that went to his lung. And so insurance only covered but so much. But if we didn't have an emergency fund, we would have been in trouble. So I think you can use it for investments, but we kind of put ours in a couple buckets, like for education, different things. But we've learned with family members, it can be a family member that you want to help that's just completely unexpected. So that's where we use our emergency fund.
Let me tell you why I said I went against the grain and said investment. Because everything everybody said is correct. But for me, I have this rule that I've tried to live off of last year's earnings. I don't want to be living off of this year's earnings. If it's an emergency fund and it's just sitting there, it's depreciating. Money sitting in the bank is losing money. I always will put it into some kind of investment. So even though it's an emergency fund, it's building me dividends and creating money for me. For me, every time I get my hand on a dollar, I try to figure out how to make that dollar make more dollars. So to me, even if it's an emergency fund, it shouldn't be sitting somewhere that is idle and it's not then investing. So all of what's being said, that's why I said all of the above, but always an investment. I always look for a high yield or high interest account. And to me, whole life is one of those vehicles. I'm not a salesperson, I'm not selling it, but putting money in a place for me that I'm able then to pull that money out and still not lose the investment or the interest gained on that money while I'm using that money to take care of a emergency or a fix, and a person who owns several properties. I understand everything you're saying about, yeah, but you get this, but then you find that this problem. But once you take that money out and spend it, it's no longer an emergency fund, it's gone. If it's in an investment, like say a whole life, you can pull that money out, you can fix what you need to do, it's still gaining interest at the rate. You understand about whole life, yes? Everybody, I've explained it before. So now you pull that 20,000 out to fix it, but you're still gaining the interest on that 20,000 as you're paying that 20,000 back. And so it's an investment at the same time, it's also a fund. So for me, everything is investment. Everything is, how do I put this money somewhere where it makes me money? I can use this money, but this money is still making me money. Then if I have to pay back the money, I'm not losing money. It's an investment. My mindset is everything should be an investment vehicle. That's the way I look at life. Any agreements or disagreements on that?
I did put in the chat, we use Synchrony Bank. So I've not heard a whole life, but our high yield savings account is Synchrony. We have a couple, but yeah. So I totally agree with that.
So let me explain whole life. Whole life is an insurance policy. So you got term life and it's lower, but you pay for it, and then after you die, you get it. Whole life policy is a policy you put the money in. It's also earning you interest and investment. It's saving, it's creating an investment fund for you that you can cash out after a certain time. You can borrow against that. So like I have a whole life policy that I started like 20 years ago. It's like up to 150,000. I was recently able to go pull I think 60,000 out of that for something that I wanted to invest in. They still pay me the interest on the still 150,000. And then I pay back interest on that. So I'm paying back at like 1% because so basically it's paying me 7% interest. I pulled it out and it's charging me 1% interest as I pay it back, but it's still counting the money that is paying me interest on as if I never took anything out. And that's the benefit of whole life policy. That's not stuff that they really teach us a lot, but it's something I accidentally, God made me stumble into like almost 30 years ago, and it's one of the best vehicles you can have. So what I recently did was I purchased another term life policy, and in the term life policy, it gave me another $200,000 of death benefit. But then after a couple of years, which we just got a letter, I just got a letter recently, they said, you're now able to convert that $200,000 policy into your whole life. So now I have a $400,000 death benefit, and I have a current asset on it of like 250,000 total. So it's, if you don't know the vehicle, I'm not a salesperson, I don't sell policies, but if you don't know about them, please look into them. I've been able to do so much using my whole life insurance policy. And if I die tomorrow, they still have to pay out the benefit of the whole thing. They can't reduce it. Look into whole life if you're not into it. It's not something they teach us, but it's a very real vehicle, and I use it a lot. Questions, comments? I didn't think this would be the conversation, but like whenever I'm talking to our people, I realized how little is being taught about that. And again, I stumbled into it. When I started making money about 30 years ago, I found this policy and I started sewing into it. And one day they called me and said, okay, guess what? You have $150,000. What do you want to do with it? And I'm like, leave it there, roll it into another policy. Because since I didn't know it was there anyway. But man, oh man, I used it to invest in properties, and I'm investing some new properties now. I'm actually investing in properties, but I've been able to pull from that policy. And it's not too late. If you're older, as we are, some of us are, you can still do it, but you just have to pay higher end to it. But I always look at opportunities to turn money into future money. So I'm off rambling, and this may wind up being our topic, but I'm looking at a couple of properties right now that I'm investing in Lehigh Valley that I want to put up traveling doctors and nurses and relocating doctors and nurses. It's a couple of buildings I was looking at. The logistics didn't work out for me. One building, you guys may know it, over on True Street. It was a small medical building right over there across the street from Lehigh Valley, 11,000 square feet. But the parking situation became a problem. They said if I want to put a house there, then I gotta, try to get a variance because they don't have a parking space, or rent from the fairground, which the fairground doesn't want to do anymore now that it's not really Lehigh Valley. And when I started totaling up the money, it didn't make sense. So I had to pull back and come back with a different approach. But the point is, I have money to do it because of the way I leverage money. I don't brag about money, but because of moves like this, if I don't make a dime for the next 3 years, I won't hurt. And I really push that, like, make your money make money. There's a saying, I heard somebody say it and I live by it. Poor people make money to spend money. Middle-class people make money to create debt, to buy things they can't afford, to pay it off over time. Wealthy people, and I say rich, I say wealthy people make money to get the money pregnant so that it can make more money. So I want a new house, get ready to get married to my Nelly, and I want a home of our own. And I don't buy a house until I buy an investment property that makes me enough money to pay for the house that I want to buy. And so it's always for me, what do I create that creates the next round of finances for the next thing I want to do? I don't talk a lot about this stuff to people that don't really know, but that's how my mind has worked, and that's what keeps me always financially stable, no matter what the economy does. Questions, comments?
Yes, I have a question. Finally getting that together, everything you're saying, and really wanting what comes into, like you just said, make babies, right? Have a whole family, a whole legacy. It's happening. So I'm looking at it now with my second business. Sales are coming in again and they're decent. And so I'm like, okay, this isn't for this month. I don't want to go hire a bunch of people and spend money for people to do stuff that even I can do. But I am kind of like, how do I take this and so that this feeds into June, into August? Like if it's just from a sales perspective versus real estate or like a large life insurance, I don't have those big chunks of money. I'm just starting out now, but I am really curious to know, like, how can we start with what we have that's maybe extra or on top of what, our basic needs are, so that it can build to then pay for itself.
Good question. Anybody want to add to that question or add an angle to that question? Because this way I might be able to answer more than one question at a time. Anybody want to jump on top of that question? Can't be shy on here.
I wasn't going to jump on your question, but I was going to back up what you're saying about, allowing money to get pregnant. One of the things that my wife and I have talked about is she wants a bigger house. we've been taught that the way you go about that is that you sell the house that you're in to go get the next one. When what we
Correct.
should be doing is holding on to what you have and making it make money for you to allow you to get the next thing. And what you said about traveling nurses and doctors is spot on. That is an excellent market. But one of the markets that's underestimated is Section 8. You know, and I think that it gets demonized a lot because you look at Section 8 as like, oh, those are people that don't have money. But in theory, they're not the ones who are paying for their living expenses. It's being subsidized by the government. So you get paid directly by the government. That money is in your bank every month. So I'm not letting go of this property. You know, if I move into the next thing, I'm keeping this one so it can make money for me so that I can get into my next thing and hopefully building up enough equity where you can add even another piece of property. You know, I'm seeing that with my father-in-law, and I know he's going to be retiring very comfortably. So, yeah, I think that a key piece of what you're saying here is once you get yourself on a hands, you get real estate in your hands, don't let that piece of real estate go. Let it make money for you.
Thank you, brother. Now, I'm going to turn you into something that's going to make you real excited. That's better than Section 8. The apartment I'm sitting in right now in New York is a 3-bedroom apartment, a bath and a half apartment that we used for the church for years, emptied it out. I literally just signed the lease today. Edwidge, what's the name of that program called? You know the name of it.
HASA.
HASA. The HASA program is people who can't work because they're HIV or whatever. I just rented this place to these people. They pay me $3,700 a month to have her in this apartment. I would probably get $2,000 for it, maybe $2,500. Pay me $3,700 a month because, and it's better than Section 8 because the way they screen the people is tighter and it's federal. And the money is much better. So look into HASA. HASA, good thing. Also, Section 8, the issue with Section 8 and why people frown on it is this. A lot of times you're going to get what they could consider a low quality tenant and they may not take care of your place. That's number one. Traveling nurses and doctors are better for this reason. You rent them a room, not the house, and they'll pay you to, depending on where you are in the Lehigh Valley, because I've already looked into it, you get paid $1,200 to $1,500 a month for a room. For a tenant that's very rarely there, if at all, because they're in the hospitals all day and all night, you got 5 bedrooms, you got that money times 5. This is a phenomenal. If you give them place, they have a private interest. I just totaled up the place that we have over here on Elm Street. And because I created that back place that used to be Lindsay's office with his own interest in his own bathroom, they told me I can get $2,000 a month. My mortgage on that place is $800. Then there's 3 bedrooms upstairs. I totaled up that I could make close to $7,000 a month off of that place. So the traveling nurses thing is better in the sense that you got more turnaround. You only renting out a room at a time. All you have to put in there is a bed and a dresser for the most part. You don't have to supply anything else. Internet and all of that, you can supply it, but again, they're very rarely home. So these are options, brother AJ, to look at if you want to move in, but you bless my heart. I know, Lindsay, we're going to get back to you. You bless my heart by what you said, because that is the lie. You got to sell this to buy that. No, you leverage what you have to get the next thing. I was trying to sell this property so bad because I was divorced and I wanted to give her her piece and get out of it. And I joined the real estate class. I've been taking a real estate class for the past year. And they said, the worst thing you can do is make an emotional decision like that. You got a property in New York and you're just going to just and walk away with a chunk of change. So you know what I did, AJ? I took the property. I went to the bank just not even a month ago, got a no-doc loan because it appraised for 1.3 million. I got a no-doc loan for $780,000. Paid off the balance, which was $250,000, put $500,000 in the bank. This is just a month ago. And now I'm using that money to invest in other properties. Everything you said is spot on. Spot on. And I'm gonna tell you something, it was a phenomenal feeling. Lindsay showed up at the bank for me to walk into the bank and say, I want to deposit this. How fast would it clear? And they said, how much is it? And I said, $500,000. They went, you know, it's just the whole environment changes when you start to deal on that kind of level. What you're saying is absolutely spot on. I stumbled into this, but God's wisdom guided me through the understanding of this. I have a better understanding of finances than a lot of people I know, and I don't talk about it a lot, except for like on this platform. But God has shown me that money is a tool, just like a hammer or a screwdriver in your bucket. It's not supposed to be used to pay your bills and chase the wolf away every month. That's not. You can use it like that, but it's not supposed to be used like that. Thank you for sharing that. Lindsay, back to you. Your question was, how do you, when you're starting out smaller, correct me if I'm wrong, and you don't have the finances to keep rolling the money over, what's the best way to start with that? Was that the question, or did I get it totally wrong?
No, sir. I'm like maybe one step ahead. Making money. This money, I will no longer ever just make money to pay bills. So I've got sales and just enough to meet my basic needs. I am taking the more than just enough, not shopping, not putting it in savings. I want that to make money for July, for August, and I don't know how to take that amount and invest so that it can. And I'm talking from a sales perspective. Like, do I hire people to finish setting up my systems? That's a time saver, but is that going to help make the next month and the next month? So all my focus right now is sales. So
what's the question?
What's the best way to take the sales that I have right now in the account and make more money?
That's a delicate question, but it's not a complicated question, not as hard as you think it would sound. I remember not too long ago, you came to me and you said, I want to raise the fee. AJ and Kiana, you may know this story, you may not know about it. And I said, absolutely not. And she said, why? I said, because you're just going to buy more stuff and then you're going to be in trouble again and then you're going to need another raise. So I would give you a raise on the one condition. What was the condition, Lindsay?
That I have an IRA.
To open up an IRA account and put some money in it. And I said, I would give you a raise, but that money must go into the IRA. Was that a blessing to you or no?
Yes, it was.
Saved your life, didn't it?
Yeah.
So here's my point. You're saying, do I spend this money to invest in other people, to do other stuff? Do I do the stuff myself? What's the best way to do it? That's frustrating, but it's really, really simple from my perspective. Everything I can do without spending the money, I would rather do. You look at Tyler Perry, when he started out, he said he was writing the scripts himself, he was building the sets himself, he was, playing all the roles himself, he was doing everything he needed to do himself to get to the place that the situation starts to pay for itself. I believe that a situation will get to a place that it pays for itself if you build it right.
Yeah.
But immediately throwing money at people, listen to me close, because you're my partner, you up with me. Well, I can hire this person, we can give this person. Why don't we get this? Oh, they got this kind of course here, you can do this again. I don't believe in that kind of stuff, because I believe in the only person I trust and invest in more than anything else is myself, right? I believe hold on spending, because the key to growth is when income exceeds outgo. And if your outgo keeps you, I'm going to put in this person, I'm putting this person, I'm putting this person. People that you give money to work for the money. They don't work for your vision. You're going to work for your vision. It's yours. It's your baby. I don't trust anybody to handle the meat of what I do. I have my team, and most of you guys here on my team, you all have assignments, and I trust you to do those things. But the meat of my existence is always handled by me. When it gets to a point that you start giving it off to other people and handing your baby off to everybody else like that, then you're gambling. You're really in the casino gambling because you don't know that that person loves what you do. My team loves vision builders. And so their investment in it is that they see their future in it. And I've built it so that everybody can get wealthy in it. But you're talking about hiring outsiders and people to believe in your thing. And they just believe that you're going to pay them every week. They don't believe in your thing. They don't care about your thing. It is a gamble. There's no, well, just do this and that's how you make more money. Only thing I would say that answers your question from my perspective is if you don't have to hire somebody to do it at this point, then don't. Yeah. If you can do it yourself, then do. Anybody that you hire to do anything should make you more money. If they don't, then don't spend it. So when you start talking about back end and this and that, I would put money into somebody who's going to bring me some sales. I would hire sales before I hire all this back end, this, that, and the other, because these people are making me money. That's my take on it. Me and you have gone back and forth and argued about that over the years. But my thing is, but do they make you money? I went through the same thing with Nelly. She would hire these girls. She would bring them in the shop. And I'm like, okay, that's money going out. But are they producing the money coming back more than what we're paying them? And if they're not, then you got to cut them and you got to do it yourself until you get it to the place that whoever comes in makes you money. Right now, our team members, they lighten the load at FIA, but do they make us money to pay for them and then some? Sometime yes, sometime no, but that's the balance. So as you're building Joy Fluent, everybody you bring in, FIA's been around a while, so FIA can hold her own in a lot of places. But everybody you bring in, those people have to make their money. They have to earn their money for you. At least, if they're not getting you a profit, they should at least be making enough to pay for themselves, or I wouldn't do it. That's my opinion. Anybody feel free to jump in on that. That's the Bill Brown take on things.
Wow.
I agree 100% with do as much of it as you can.
Yeah.
For the past 6-7 months, I've been doing a podcast all by myself. And I mean, writing the script, recording the video, cutting up the audio, the whole thing. I could have hired somebody to help me and simplify the process, but where I've needed people, I've found tools that cost a fraction of what the people would cost that have helped to automate certain processes for me. So I think sometimes the solution is not people. Sometimes the solution is processes. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, is that they rather hire somebody than to figure out what their process is. Because once you streamline a process and you find areas of efficiency where technology can help you as opposed to people, that's how you stay lean, you know. And so the benefit of that for me now is I'm getting ready to cash in on the work that I've been doing for 6-7 months. You know, there are some sponsorship opportunities on the horizon. Had I brought somebody on, I would have had to cut that pie up and share that profit with people. So the fact that I put the blood, the sweat, the tears into it has helped me, like you said, to maintain the vision of what I'm doing. You know, I'm pouring in my passion. I can't expect somebody else to have the same passion that I have for my projects. And then the other part of it is when you finally cash in, if you've been doing it by yourself, if you've been putting the sweat equity, you're the one who benefits from it.
I agree with everything you said with one slight caveat. You can get people that's part of your vision, But here's how I've learned that works. You give them a job, they work for the money. You give them a piece of the pie and they work for the vision. I bring my team in, I make my team a part of, if I win, they win. My point is this. AJ, if you continue to keep it here, even with the tools and stuff, after a while, it's going to take your freedom away. At some point, you're going to have to start you can keep the meat to you, but you're going to have to start to even out of systems have people, because the mind of these people on my team, and what is it, 5 of us now? The mind of these people on my team bring creativity and light and ideas to me. I don't want to become that hermit in the shell like that. The key I've learned to growth and rapid growth is collaboration. So I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just adding something to it. The collaboration of my team. Look how big Kevin Hart is. And look at the size of his team. Those plastic cup boys, whatever they call themselves. There's what, about 8 of them? Am I right? How many of them? It's a big team. Mayweather, the most financially successful person in boxing, always talks about the money team. I want to take my team. So it's growing it by yourself is a point, but after a while, you gotta find, I don't care if it's 2 or 3 people that share the vision with you. I love to be a part of some of us to begin to collaborate and talk about some stuff together. I just met this guy called Double D that Lindsay introduced me to help me move, and he's got these dreams and stuff, and now me and him are talking about collaborating together. Man, it's a power in that collaboration and pulling the team in. So everything you said correct, but my concern is just don't get locked in that corner.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like you said, I think it's just I hadn't been at that stage yet to bring people in. You know, I was kind of like I've been in that early development stage, but getting ready to graduate into that next stage where it becomes, more feasible for me as far as finances, and then perhaps that allows me to bring people in. So going back to your question, Lindsay, sometimes it's just about maybe you're not at that stage yet to bring people on board. You just have to let it grow a little bit more so that then when you get to that stage where you're ready to take the leap, you can bring people on board.
And that's a fact. I mean to cut you off, Lindsay, but real quick, you've heard me say this over the years, Lindsay. When it's time to hire or when it's time to upgrade, the situation demands it on its own. You don't have to ask the question. It will tell you.
Can I jump in real quick?
Please.
Thank you both. This is so exciting because I am there where it cannot just be me. It's a virtual assistant business. I am not going to be the virtual assistant for the entire world. And God told me specifically to build my admin army. And I've been doing that, and it's been making me money by hiring technical specialists in things that I can oversee, but that they're better than me. You've been telling us that for years. So I've got people who can say yes to projects for people coming, say, can you do this and that? I can't technically do it to the best, but I can find someone who can, and it's making me money. My biggest thing was, and you guys answered it, and thank you, the systems. I love systems. I could spend days just learning one thing, but I was starting to be concerned that I was doing too much of that, and maybe I needed to find someone to finish so I could go and continue to sell. But I wasn't sure. But even $150, $200 to get someone to set up a system, I can do that. Right? No one's coming saying, hey, help set up systems. If people are coming and asking for strategy and, so is it, and I won't take up too much time, but
I didn't say systems. I said processes.
Right. He didn't. Thank you. See, he took the words out of my mouth. He did not.
Okay. So then, yeah. So then I need help. Maybe I'll reach out to you after.
My business partner. So You know, she'll take your new wine and try to put it in her old wineskin and make it. So you said it's like, no, that's not what we said. It's so good to have somebody else on here to say that. That's not what he said. And he said, watch this. You're talking about systems. We're talking about a community and a network of my vision, his vision. So we're talking about, if you're saying, well, see, I'm gonna get somebody to do this, and I'm gonna get somebody to do this to take this load off me, do that. What you're not developing is people who share in your dream with you and building your dream with you, that you have a part of the dream with you. That's the difference. I've brought you into all of my dreams, and almost everything I do. I always ask you, Lindsay, where's your Lindsay?
Right.
Now I got a bunch. Where's your person that you say, this dream we're building together, we're sharing the vision? Systems are systems. So what? Systems come, systems go.
Thank you. I just had drinks with who I think my future Lindsay is this past Saturday. AJ, you may or may not know her. So I'm doing my best to follow you, Mr. B. So thank you. I'm good. I won't take up the whole night. I got all the answers I need, and I hear it now.
And I think she's eager too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm here for it all. So thank you. Okay, TBD.
If I could just say something, I can't be on screen because I'm in a location, but I think, I know you don't want to take up time, but Lindsay, just through your experience, you may not even realize, but your questions and the feedback that we're getting, it helps. So don't think that you're taking up time. It's beneficial to us also at the same time. So I just wanted to say that so you don't have to stop.
Thank you, sis. And it's good to hear your voice again.
Now, absolutely, Lindsay, you're not taking up time. The questions, and this is what this is about. Look, we had a whole plan for tonight, and it went right out the window with the opening questions. That's why I love Edward's opening questions, because it takes us down the road into some journey sometime that's very, very important. Anybody else want to jump in with a question or comment? We got like 15.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Okay, I just wanted to say something really quick on what you guys are talking about. And one of the things I really learned is how I see you operate, Mr. Brown, is like you pour into people. You give so much in building us and teaching us. And I see that that's a big, important factor in building a team. Because now you have people that we can see the fruits of what you put into us, and we are becoming better. So we naturally want to give back to you. And then you develop people in a way where we want to serve, we want to give back because you put so much and we're willing to work without pay. So if we get paid, then it's a bonus, and I think that I could see that when you're building a team and it's heartfelt, like you said, bringing people into your vision where they're not just have a check, but they are a part of that vision and they can see how it's going to grow them and they become branches of you. Then you have a powerful team. And now when they get paid, that's is great and they'll do it, but I've seen so many successful people say that even when they didn't have anywhere to live or when they were in their car, they got an apartment and the people all came to their apartment and lived with them and they had this journey because everyone believed, but also that person was pouring into them. And I believe that because, you poured into us and we can take that too, pour into people, and then you'll have your team built right before you because people believe in you, and it's just a great setup. Pouring into people and teaching people, and then they end up becoming this great team, a great foundation for your business.
I always get very uncomfortable when people stop like bigging me up like that. AJ is that way. Kiana's that way. Lindsay's that way. Edward, you're all our pourers into people. Since you turned into this kind of moment, I'm going to make this assertion, and I hope that this is a blessing to you guys. A lot of times people are good at giving, but they're not good at receiving. And so we'll do so much for so many people, And we'll think that it's not valuable because it comes easy for us. So we don't put a value to it, but there's a value to it. And it took me a while. You know, I'm in my 60s now, right? But I figured out that all the seed I've sown, there's a harvest for that seed. And I began to say, okay, it's my, remember it was about 5 years ago, I said, it's my time. It's my time. It was close to the 6 years. And man, me starting to speak those words is my time. It's time for me to step out and receive what's due to me. I would encourage all of you wonderful hearted, good hearted, giving people. Kiana and AJ, I've talked to my way, some of the biggest hearted people I know. My prayer would be that you begin to say, it's my time for my harvest. So even with what you're saying about the house, AJ, like I'm only just let this go and do it. I want to find a way to turn, right? Your mind is starting to think harvest, right? I've sown the seed. It's out there. It's time for me to go out there and not with a basket, but with a tractor trailer with 3 attachments to it and pick up my sowing and bring my sowing in. It's very important to me that I am a giver. But I'm also learning at this season that it's very important that I'm a receiver.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree. For me, I'm building something to go to that I own. So God has blessed me tremendously. Now I've finally gotten to the place where I look at my corporate salary as capital. So when I negotiate, I'm thinking what kind of investments. So now the salary that I'll be making at the new job that I have is enough for me to just invest in real estate. So I have those things in mind now. That's the way God is leading me, and I'm looking forward to that because I know the season it's time. But for me, I just had to find out, what I would be consistent in and what was for me, in my space. And I tried different things, and now I've met some great relationships. So, like for instance, Oprah, like some of I owned a magazine, but she doesn't run the magazine. Hearst Communications run the magazine, and she has the brand. So I've met my Hearst, but it's also other strategic partnerships that go along with that. So I don't have to be worried about the back end in terms of printing and development. They have all those relationships. And so, yeah, just things come your way when you clarify the vision. But I know that I won't be working for someone else much longer. I just feel it. So I'm definitely on that path. So thank you and for your encouragement, Bill and Lindsay, because yes, I give, but that's why God has richly blessed me with the salaries where I'll be able to just make investments and not payment plans. But now that's what it's going to be used for as well, to multiply that money. So yes.
Pregnant.
Have more babies.
Listen, I wish I had learned this stuff a long time ago, but I'm not one of those people say, only if I wish this when I knew this when I was young. I'm like, okay, I know it now, so I'm gonna use it now. I'm not gonna get younger. So you use it now. It's I know just about everybody on this call, and we're supposed to be on what's the name tonight, but it didn't work out because I wound up in the city cleaning up the apartment to get ready for the tenants. But this is a season of opportunity. God told me at the beginning of the year, he told me this is the year of opportunity. And man, so many opportunities are open, but I'll bring it home with this. It's 3 types of opportunities: good opportunities, bad opportunities, and missed opportunities. Good opportunities, bad opportunities, and missed opportunities. What do you focus on? Some people get lost because they keep focusing on missed opportunities. So some people get set back and they quit because they had a bad opportunity. Keep your focus on the good opportunities and they'll continue to be drawn to you. I'm looking at deals right now in 2, 3, one of the deals I was looking at was close to 9 million. And do I have that money? No. But I have the resource and I have the God who's bigger than that money. And I've built connections now with people on the real estate on that level who are looking at and liking what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, let me just go do some small things to show them that I know what I'm doing. And then they'll swing back around, they'll open up their pocket. And if they don't, and I told a couple of people who wouldn't help me originally, I said, you're going to be begging to work with me in the near future. Begging. I'm just telling you that. Yes, that's that, you guys who know me know that's that arrogant Bill Brown side, but it's like, you're going to be begging to work with me in the near future. So it is your time. I got the floor open for just a couple more questions and comments. I'm trying to be mindful of people's time. I'm not in a rush, but I'm trying to be mindful of your time. So even if you spoke already, I don't care. Question, comment. I prefer somebody to jump in who hasn't spoken yet. Question, comment, it'd be fine. If not, I'll take a repeat.
Mr. Brown, there was a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to realize you.
No. Actually, your husband had a question in the chat, but did you have a question too, Ruth?
No, I was saying that he had a question. That's what I was saying.
Got you, Devon.
So his question was, I want to know how a business pays their employees. Do they use a business loan? I'm just curious.
I don't like paying with loans. If you have to pay with loans, then you're not ready to have employees. I don't think any business is start off with debt like that. I just don't believe in that process. Investment, yes. Debt, like personal debt, like him taking out a loan of his own money to pay them off or in his own name, not to pay, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. No, you're an investment, yes. Now that's somebody else's money. If you can get a business loan as a beginning business, yeah, but no, but they're still going to be on you because they're going to have you as a signer. I don't believe in building businesses from debt. I believe, listen, if you got to take your business and reduce yourself to being a lemonade stand until you're making enough money to get a lemonade cart, to get a lemonade refrigerator, to get a lemonade storefront. I don't believe in, diving in with a bunch of debt and then, hoping that it pays off someday. I've done that in the past. It's never worked out well for me. And the other problem with debt is if you're not careful with trying to start a business and pay people with debt, it makes you lazy because it makes you begin to believe that money, Lindsay's shaking her head, yeah, we've had the conversations, that you think that money is just yours and it's easy. And then when it's gone and you're not making any still, and now those people are saying, where's my money? I loaned that money to you, where's my money? And you're like, oh, if you could just loan me a little bit more, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So I don't believe in debt to pay employees. I don't. Unless you have a business that's up and operating and you hit a snag. And even in that kind of case, I just say, make those mofos work harder, bring some more money in. I don't believe in doing debt to pay up. No, I just don't believe in debt to pay salaries. I just don't.
I think that the most exciting thing that you could do is open a business. The scariest thing you can do is also open up a business. I met with someone who has a very successful business in downtown Allentown. And I asked them, how did you get started? And one of the co-owners told me, well, I put my house up as collateral. And to me, that's like, wow, you're like all in at that point. You're saying like, you know what? I'm putting my money where my mouth is. It's great if it works out for you, but it's scary. And I mean, that's what most people don't understand, is that starting a business is not for everybody, because you have to have the stomach for that. It really is, it's risky business. But, going back to what you were saying, Bill, there's all kinds of opportunities. And there's a quote from Leonard Ravenhill that I always go back to, and it's that the opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. And that's where most people miss the mark, is knowing what is that opportunity that you can't miss out on. That's why you see people who will try it time and time again, but it's having the persistence to stick there in it and try it until you do find that one that hits off. But it is scary. It is scary.
That's where I make the point. Good opportunity, bad opportunity, missed opportunity. Which one are you focusing on? I love tenacity, and I love the way you guys think and the way you guys talk. The simplest, I guess, bring home is this. When I go forward to do something, I always consider this can fail or it can succeed, but it doesn't fail until I give up. Moments don't make it a failure. It's when I throw my hands up and say, it's over, I'm done. Sometimes people quit, you don't know how close to the new dock you are, and you jump back in the water, start swimming back to where you came from. You're just about to port. So here's a Bill Brown saying that, one of my many God bless coin phrases: those who decide to do will give you all the reasons they can. And those who decide not to do will give you all the reasons they can. And then I ask, which one are you? Listen to your conversation and you can answer that question. So you figure out a way. Since I've known you, AJ, you've been in this vein. This is your lane. And you may have to pivot a little, and you may have to change this and drop that and pick up the new technique here, there, but you're on track to doing your thing. You don't move, you don't budge. And people, I just had a long conversation with, I call him my son, Corey, out in Florida. I told him I was thinking about giving up my apartment and leaving Florida. Fire trucks, I'm sorry. And he had a fit. No, you can't leave Miami. You got to stay here. Pop, you can't leave me. What are you doing? I was like, well, I'm paying this money a month. And he starts going, is the fire hit inches loud? No? Okay, good. And he starts saying, you can't do this. You can't leave. And he started telling me all the reasons I should stay, and bring Nelly out here and I'll get her some customers and she can just bring the whole salon over here and just sell the place you got. And I was like, okay, dude, stop. But he started breaking down through his study, even though he's new, what we're doing wrong with social media. And I won't go into a whole long thing with it because it's a long conversation. But he made this one point. He said, social media is not about followers. You keep trying to make a video for people to follow and watch. That's not what it's about. It's about the algorithm picking you up. He said the algorithm is what finds you and likes you or doesn't like you, not the people. And I said, are you kidding me? He said, I just went on YouTube. Look at your Diddy video. He said that video got more views than anything. You know why? No. Because the thumbnail is a picture of Diddy in it, not you. Nobody knows you. Nobody cares about your thumbnail. Put some thumbnails up there and he sat there and he broke this whole thing out and said, I just started doing it with my son and my son's girlfriend and my girlfriend. And look at the traffic we've gotten in the past 3 months. And I said, I got to meet with my team. We got to pivot. Because we got this backwards. We're doing it wrong. Still doing exactly what we're doing, but now we realize we got to take a lot of our old videos that didn't move and look at the title and figure out why the people didn't like the title, change the image and put a different image and put that same video right back out again. It's process, It's growing. It's having the ability to pivot. If you step out there and it doesn't look like the opportunity is going your way, make the adjustment, get back in the wave and keep on flowing. You will succeed. It's just a matter of when and where. So I'll bring it back to the same point I made a minute ago. Your gifts are from God, and your gift, in the end, the Bible says, will speak and it shall not lie, which means your vision has its own voice. It doesn't need you to speak for it because it can speak for itself. The key is you have to align with it. Number one, you have to realize that the gift you have is valuable. Just because it comes easy to you doesn't mean it's not valuable. And three, you have to have the tenacity to say it doesn't make a difference what's going on around me. I know that this is where I'm going and I can't deviate. And what I'm learning, even now at this time of my life, that I've had more success in the past couple of years since I got out of a certain situation and moved to another situation, because who you're surrounded with, either they elevate you or they anchor you or they pull you down. And these are the decisions we make, from friends to family to whatever. You have to almost become, for the lack of a better word, selfish about the destination God has called you to. And then you get on the path and you do it and you don't turn back until you win. And you decide what winning is. You ready? Let's grow. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Phenomenal. Man, you guys need to be on all the time, AJ and Kiana, man. You guys brought some fire to the game. You got some dialogue going up in here. I really appreciate you. A lot of times they sit here and just listen to me talk. It's good to have, the dialogue going. So thank you so much.
You're lucky it was raining. I'd be doing something else. No, but it was a good conversation. I definitely need to be a part of more of these.
Yeah, excellent conversation.
Excellent.
Thanks for sharing, Bill. Thanks for your time, and everybody else.
Thank you. I turn it back over to my Ed McMahon, Edwidge.
Well, we expected this to be a great meeting, and therefore it was. And thank you again for Kiana, AJ, Devon, Nellie, Sophie, Ruth, Lindsay, and Luxia, and of course, Mr. Brown, for joining us tonight. We will be here again next month. Next month is in a few days, but we are eagerly awaiting for you to meet with us again. We should be meeting at the last Sunday of next month. So please put a pin in that date. Please come with your questions and come with your excitement. We're excited to have you be a part of the Vision Builders family, and invite someone you know who you think would love to be here. We love to welcome new people, and we'll be in touch. Until next time, everyone have a good night.
Good night, fam.